walking through the forest with blood on our hands. We got lost.
Hey everyone, I'm Salvador, and welcome to Pitch Lab. I'm a footballer living in the Midwest, and I love all things soccer. I started this channel to not only learn about football from professionals, but also to share the love for the game with people from all over the world. And welcome to Pitch Lab.
We ran the sea. She was the morning sun. Slowly rose in her brilliance.
Hi everyone, welcome to Pitch Lab. This is Jordan Farr with the Indy 11, the greatest goalkeeper of all time. No, I'm just kidding. But he's a beast, the man between the sticks, Jordan Farr. He plays for Indy 11. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a goalkeeper for Indy 11. This is my first pro club I've ever played for. This is my third season, going into my third season. Last year, I got my first start in the U.S. Open Cup against Lansing United. It was actually at Butler Field in Indy, which was awesome. But I grew up playing soccer in Salem, Oregon, and I've been playing since I was about 4 years old. I started playing goalkeeper, though, as a senior in high school. So then I first played for my club team as a goalkeeper and my school team. It'd normally be like in school, I'd be a forward. For my high school, I'd be a forward. And then for my club team, I'd be a goalkeeper. And I played for a club called CFC. They were kind of associated with the Timbers in my later days as a club player. And then I went and played for the Charlotte Eagles, which is a PDL team or USL League 2 team. And then I played for the Timbers U23s, which is a USL League 2 team. And then I graduated from Corbin University after playing there for 4 seasons. And I got a contract to play for Indy 11, and I've been here since.
I knew that you played for Portland Youth 23, right? Would that be a youth academy, or would that be a different USL team?
So they have the Timbers Academy is still young, all things considered. I think they're in their 7th season as a pro club, and so it looked a lot different when I first initially tried out for them when I was 17. I tried out for the under 18s. It did not make the cut, but then in college, when I was in my junior season, summer of my junior season, just prior to my senior season, the team rebranded their U23 teams to play in Salem, Oregon, which is my hometown. And so I got an opportunity to play for them, and I had an excellent season for them. And it was like their first winning year. We won their conference and got into the regional playoff for the PDLs. And now that's the USL League 2, which is still amateur. So you can't get paid at that league, but it's the highest amongst college players.
What was your first big break of your career?
Man, so breaks are interesting. Every player needs something to kind of break into the next level. I attribute it to a few things. One was getting to play college soccer my freshman year and playing for a team that wasn't very good and then making a massive impact. So they hadn't won the conference, they haven't gone to nationals, and so that freshman year I did all those things and got goalkeeper of the year, all those. And so I was able to play consistently all 4 years. So that's my first big break, I'd say. And then the second was getting to play for the Charlotte Eagles, which is a very, very high level at the time PDL team. And so getting experience there and actually getting a goalkeeper coach who was with me 24/7 and training. And then the third big break would be the Timbers U23s, where I got to start on a very well-known in the area. Lots of professional players get brought out of that, get drafted from there. And so to have a good season again with them kind of set me apart, I think, from talent in the nation. And then obviously Martin Rennie taking kind of a gamble on NAI kid with, I think I was the only rookie on that team on Indy 11 that first year. And so those 3 things, and then Martin Rennie taking a chance on me was the massive breaks in my life as far as soccer goes.
Number 2, who was the person who gave you your first big chance? You know what I mean? Your first big chance.
No, excellent. So Aaron Lewis. So obviously for my college career, it would be Aaron Lewis, the coach. But the biggest chance and connection and someone that pretty much laid their neck on the line for me was Dave Dixon, who was the Charlotte Eagles coach. So it was my first PDL experience. And it's funny because I really didn't play a ton on his team. I played probably like 6 games out of 18 game season, and I ended up playing in the playoffs because they ended up going with me at the end of the season after seeing kind of what I was capable of. I guess I made a good impression on him, and he's a great friend of mine. He's the assistant coach now at the Charlotte Independence, and he was the assistant. So he was getting brought on as an assistant coach my first year with the Indy 11 soccer team. And he basically just put in a really good word for me and was able to negotiate a contract for me. And so without Dave Dixon being involved, and I had Martin Rennie actually had visited my school when I was a sophomore, because when he was a coach for Vancouver Whitecaps, it was kind of a close connection. And so he was doing a speaking tour around the area in the off season, and he came and spoke at our school. So it was like a really random connection to Martin Rennie. And then through that, Dave Dixon was the one who really orchestrated, like, okay, Jordan's the real deal. We should sign him as a second goalkeeper, all that. And so he was the guy that I attribute like being a professional to.
So my fourth question is, what would you say is the hardest part about becoming a soccer player? Not just like, let's say put the work aside, because I mean that's unbelievable. You know what I mean? The hard work and everything like that. What else is the hardest part?
Yeah. The hardest part has got to be, in my position as a second goalkeeper, to measure expectations and like, as far as, and then also measure what pressure you put on yourself. Because obviously a guy in my position, I want to start every game and I want to play. And everybody does. Like, even as a club player, I want to play every single game. I want to play it all the time. But measuring expectations in the sense of it's not devaluing yourself or lessening your value, saying, okay, I'm a second goalkeeper, I should be okay with that. It's more giving yourself the best opportunity to succeed in the role that you are. And that's mentally and physically. Because mentally, if I'm like thinking, oh, I should be a starter, like, what the heck? It's going to take away from all my training. It's going to take away from how I mentally prepare for every game. Because if I'm in a good headspace, I'm now ready for any opportunity that comes my way. Also, I'm making a good impression on coaches and teammates, and I'm increasing their value as they train at a higher level, and I train, and it's encouraging. And so that's been the hardest part to be consistent at, because there's days where I'm pissed off. It's like a Friday before a game. I know I'm not starting. I feel like maybe I had a good enough week to play. Like, man, I trained. Like, there's days that Evan trains much better than me, and then there's days that I feel like I've done better as a whole throughout the entire week or whatever. But that's just like not how it is. It's the real world. Like, he's played so many more games than I have, and if he's healthy and he's playing well, doesn't mean if he's playing better than me every single day. If he's playing well and consistent, he deserves a spot. But so that's something that I have to measure all the time and be like, just calm down. You'll get your opportunity. Make him better. Everyone's better if you can have that right mentality. So that's been the hardest thing, I think, this year.
Yeah. Who do you think? Okay. I was gonna say, who do you think has been a leader in your life? Like, who's been a big supportive person?
Yeah, I'd say my family out my whole life has constant support, like through everything. They're my biggest fans. My grandpa and grandma, like they call me all the time, even away. All my family is on the West Coast in California and Oregon, but my immediate family is all in Salem, Oregon. And my grandparents are crazy about like just following my every move. But the last 5 years since I've been married, it's been my wife. She's been like everything. Bad games, good games. She's consistent, stable, level-headed, and very supportive. And she's not someone who's just like doesn't care about the game and like, oh, you don't worry, I'll always love you. She's like, and she played soccer in college, so she's like intensely watching the game and like knowledgeable about the game, but at the same time can like take out of that and just be my wife, but then at the same time have that knowledge and have that input to kind of help me understand what's going on and make light of situations that need to be made light of, or and so she's been by far the most supportive person in my life.
I bet that makes a crazy competitive relationship.
It totally can, but she's pretty competitive, but when it comes to soccer, like I think she just like She was more of a basketball player growing up anyway, but she just was an athlete. So that's funny though.
I bet I could see that happening. I totally see that. Like you compete with her or something like that.
Yeah. In card games, anything.
Yeah.
You always have a competition.
Yeah. Same with me. I mean, I'm crazy competitive. My mom is the kind of lady that if you're running on the treadmill, she'd rather die running on the treadmill than she would have you, than she would stop and say that you're better than her. You know what I mean? She's crazy.
Oh, I love that, bro.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like that. What advice would you give to a young 16-year-old trying to make it in soccer, specifically?
Yeah. Man, so when I was 16, I was in a club. I was playing soccer as much as I could. I was making good impressions on coaches, on teammates, staying consistent. But the biggest thing is to just if you play for a club team, stick with the club team, work as hard as you can in training. Stick to what you know, what's right in all situations. Like if that's coming early, that's staying late after training to get extra sessions in if the coach is available, if other players are available. But a lot of it comes down to the simple fact. So if you want to do something in your life, for me, it was I want to be a professional soccer. Every single day of my life, once I realized that goal, which is when I was like in middle school or elementary school, it's like, I want to be a professional soccer player. Every day I was told that, like, I can't remember who even told me this. It could have been my dad. It could have been a coach, but it stuck with me, is that if you're not doing one thing, at least one thing every single day to help you accomplish that goal, the commitment level won't be there. And I don't think that you understand what it's going to really take. And so for me, it's like, if you're 16, you have to be doing something every single day that's going to help you accomplish that goal. If that's running, if that's getting physically more fit, if that's getting time and touches on the ball, anything. And obviously if you can do more than one thing, you're in even a better headspace. You have a better chance of making whatever team you going to college. So, but it comes to like consistency across a long time. That's how it is. That's how you master anything. It's consistency, reps, and then doing it for a long enough time. Yeah, I watched soccer as much as I could. And I watched positionally how players would play. My favorite position in soccer is like the center defensive mid, because of I love watching Paul Scholes growing up. I love watching Steven Gerrard, guys who weren't really maybe true center defensive mids, but played in the middle and were like a box-to-box player. A lot of the times that is a center defensive mid or like a center midfielder. It's like a Tyler Gibson is a little more defensive than I love, but like a Drew Connor maybe is like this Matt Watt box-to-box midfielder. And so I would watch players like this all the time. I'd go to games, watch players, and like see what they do in different positions and how they react to the different parts to one piece. But then fitness levels, making sure that you're physically fit and physically fast and quick and all that. And then the most important thing is touches and time on the ball, juggling, putting the ball off the wall, making sure your first touch is solid and that you're accurate with your passing, because those are the things that are going to shine the most. Obviously shooting's important if you're a forward, but like if you're trying to just be like an all-around good player, touches on the ball and passing is going to be your best and most helpful drills to really zone in on.
We've been walking through the forest with blood on our hands. We got lost in such a foreign land where we could be free. We could be free. I'm a pagan, I'm a pilgrim, I'm a sinner, I'm a saint. I'm one of God's children that's descended from the snake. We've been deceived, we've been deceived. She was the morning sun, slowly exposed to her brilliance, slowly exposed to her brilliance.